Good afternoon, everybody. Why don't we get started? Look like we have about 10 here, and maybe one or two will join us, but I certainly wanted to honor your time. First of all, welcome. Second of all, on behalf of my colleagues in the entire School of Education and my two esteemed colleagues here online with us, we certainly want to acknowledge the journey that you have been on with COVID. It's now been a year. Neither of us can really imagine intimately what your journey has been like, but we simply want to and always acknowledge that you have been on a journey, that you are rock stars for succeeding at this point through it. And we just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge your gifts about getting through, your patience, your persistence, your understanding, and positioning you for healing, depending on what is going on in your life. So we really want to acknowledge that because we know you could be doing many other things with your time right now, but we really want to acknowledge that and thank you for giving us a shot here. I'm William Parham, currently the interim director of the doctoral program in educational leadership for social justice, also serving as a professor here in the School of Education, specifically in the counseling program. This is absolutely one of my favorite positions and jobs at the university. Let me take a moment to have my two esteemed colleagues introduce themselves, and then I will have one of them really talk to you about this visual that you see in front of you. So Carrie and Michaela.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Carrie Hookding. I'm the Associate Director for the doctoral program. I've been a faculty member in the program for the past decade, and I teach the quantitative research methods courses and some research writing courses. And I'm excited to get to know you all, and thank you for being here today. Michaela?
You're on mute, Michaela.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Michaela Cooper. I am the program coordinator for the doctoral program, and it's nice to meet you all.
All right. So let's start off by just really introducing who we are and what we do as evidence in this visual that you see. And Dr. Hookding, could you take us through the history of this particular mural?
Sure. Happy to. So we just love this mural. Over 15 years ago, we had an artist, we commissioned an artist to put together this mural for us to depict images of leadership, images of justice. And this beautiful mural hangs on our campus in our doctoral center. And we're quite proud of the way that it's stood the test of time in terms of the imagery that you see here. So if you take a moment and look at these images, you might see images of leadership, images of justice, images of peace, and images of advocacy and activism. And that's really what we're all about in this doctoral program in educational leadership for social justice.
Thank you. So why choose LMU? We really want you to know that we have a big focus on social justice. And for us, this isn't just words. We really pride ourselves actually on taking a look at current events, for example, COVID, current social protests, et cetera, immigration. You're really integrating those current day realities into the theories, into the concepts, principles that you learn in textbooks. And we really call ourselves having an integrated approach to theory and practice in a real sense, coming up with real world examples. We think our program really prepares leaders in all sectors, PK-12, higher education, and nonprofit, as well as community-based education. I take it a step further, actually. My view of the world is that we don't just prepare leaders, we help you to discover the leader that you already are. Because we really want to empower you to say, you know, I can do this. And with the genius that you bring, coupled with whatever expertise we have, that chemistry brings out a synergy that really, really works here at this university and in our program specifically. On top of that, we do have a very strong alumni network. Alumni have gone on to do some pretty fascinating things in terms of being superintendents, principals, policymakers, both nonprofit and community leaders. So we have a legacy and a tradition of doing well, of advancing ourselves, of moving the needle of real change, evidenced by our alumni who graduated and who continue to keep us informed about what they're doing. Next slide. Dr. Hookteen, you want to take us through this?
Sure. So we are proud to share a little bit about our statistics here at LMU. We are named 64 on the list of best national universities by the US News and World Report, and we're ranked in the top 5 Jesuit universities in the country and top 6 private colleges in California. Really what we like to boast about is our super awesome faculty. We have internationally renowned faculty who are available to work with our doctoral students. One of the benefits of joining our doctoral program is that we are really an entire school-wide program, meaning faculty who serve, for example, in our teaching and learning department, faculty who serve in our school counseling and school psychology department, or faculty who serve in our educational leadership department are all available to work with our doctoral students. And in that way, our doc students have access to specific faculty who have expertise in their area of interest for the dissertation. In addition to our awesome faculty, we also have several educational centers as also research centers, such as the Center for Equity for English Learners. This particular center has wonderful partnerships with our local school districts, as well as an interdisciplinary STEM center, the Center for Catholic Education, and our LMU family of schools, which is a network of schools local to the Westchester area in Los Angeles. And what these centers provide for our doctoral students is, should you want access to a school to study a particular topic for your dissertation, these are ways in which you can work with schools through these centers. And additionally, sometimes these centers offer fellowships for our doctoral students. So lots of really great work happening through the centers here.
This is just a sample of our faculty. Certainly Ernesto Colleen, as one example, is associate professor. He has a special interest and a passion actually for study of indigenous education. Magali Labanens, who's the director of our SEAL program, or English Language Learners, that Dr. Hookteen just referred to. She actually has a distinction of being the distinguished professor and director of SEAL. She is a colleague who brings in a lot of research dollars and really does some boots on the ground work that's quite impressive. Dr. William Perez is a professor, and he is actually a national leading expert in undocumented immigrants and the laws, the policies, and the psychology of adjustment. And his classic text, it just really talks about it in depth, like they're human beings, not statistics. And it really brings you into the life of and the journey of those citizens. Martha McCarthy, our presidential professor, actually she is the colleague that was on the previous slide with our president of the university, Dr. Timothy Law Snyder. Dr. McCarthy actually is an international expert in education law. She is very informative, really helps you to learn law. I mean, that sounds like it's overwhelming, but she has such a command of it and breaks it down where we really understand how it applies specifically to school leaders, teachers. The book that she has co-authored is now in its 8th edition, which is code for it's pretty darn good, and it's well received as a landmark text. Next slide. Dr. Hookteen.
Certainly. So one of the hallmarks of our program is our strong community of support. What we try to do in our program is make sure that students have access to the dissertation chair on a 1-to-1 student ratio. What that means is students get to select their dissertation chair. So should they join our program, it's not like you're going to be told which faculty member you have to work with. You have agency. You get to select the faculty member that you want to work with. And that is a 1-to-1 relationship. So you have a very personal, in-depth relationship with your chair who's with you on that dissertation journey almost for its entirety, which is great. Additionally, we are quite intentional about keeping our doctoral cohort small. We admit relatively small cohorts of 20 to 25 students. And we do that to make sure that there is an opportunity for the cohort to really engage with each other and to learn from each other. Another hallmark of our program is that we intentionally curate a very diverse cohort. We are looking for candidates across all different educational backgrounds from different areas of life, because we believe that the problems we're facing in education, we're often tackling those in silos. But through this program, we hope to break down those barriers and work with each other to learn from each other. Oftentimes we're facing those same problems just in different contexts, and we can think about those problems together collaboratively and be innovative in our solutions. So we intentionally create that cohort model with diversity as being top of mind for us. And then lastly, this individualized support is quite common for us. It's the faculty love to work with students. If you get a chance to ever speak with a current student or alum of our program, you'll hear that they still keep in touch with their faculty. The faculty celebrate them more than anything because they've seen how hard our students work during the dissertation process. So that individualized support is truly real for us in this program.
As I mentioned before, we try to really work hard at translating theory into practice. At the end of the day, students, colleagues are not really going to ask you, where did you get your degree from necessarily? They're going to ask you, can you make a difference? And our goal in the program, quite frankly, is to position you to be able to say more than just, yes, of course I can help. We want you to be able to say absolutely. And so when we take a look at, again, the public, higher education, and the Catholic, these are just some of the examples of the dissertations that have gone on, and people have done quite well once they've left here. So principals and partners of change. In a Common Core state standards implementation, that's just an example of Dr. Lucas, who has gone into public education. Silencing the critics, teacher preparation for social justice matters. Dr. Schmidt has gone into higher ed. Then our Catholic school spaces, we have Dr. Bersano forming and supporting lay Catholic elementary school principals as leaders. And so this is just really just the tip of the iceberg of what we do produce. But what we really want you to hear with this is their passion. These are not topics that we want them to address. They come to us with some questions, a fair amount of curiosity, but more or less excitement about wanting to get some answers to these questions. So this is what they bring to us, and in collaboration with us, this is what they produce, and we're very, very proud of what they've done. Dr. Hugty.
Sure. So in addition to being quite mindful of, the one-on-one support, this community of support through the cohort model, and the opportunity for our students to select their own problems of practice for the dissertation topic, as Dr. Parham shared with you, we also have tried to design this program with the working professional in mind. How we operationalize that is through our class schedule. For example, our classes are held on one night a week, back to back. We do that intentionally because we know that as working professionals, it's hard to, come to campus and sit through classes multiple nights a week. And from our students, we've heard that it's really exciting. Mondays, they're excited to come together, have really rich discussions. They're waking up Tuesday morning exhausted, but really excited to go to work, to take on the challenges and bring with them the discussions that they had the night before. We also are intentional about scaffolding the dissertation model, the dissertation support throughout the program. So unlike other programs where they will often front load your coursework and then position the dissertation to be something that you do individually after coursework, we actually weave throughout the program dissertation support, which comes to you in the form of some writing courses. And in these writing courses, you actually begin to author the dissertation. You have access to a writing professor who can help you with the writing, but you also have access to each other. So the cohort works together in a really lovely sort of peer way, because as we all know, writing is a skill. And through that practice and sharing with each other, we all improve. So it's a lovely sort of supportive way of finishing the dissertation. And last but certainly not least, we have wonderful, accessible faculty. I can't say enough about how amazing these folks are. They love our doctoral students. They're so excited to get to work with you, and they are highly accessible. So you take, for example, someone like Martha McCarthy, who's our presidential law professor, or someone like Magali Lavadens, who's our distinguished professor. At other institutions, given their titles and their work and their, international renowned status, you would think they might not necessarily have direct contact with students. But in our program, these folks teach your classes and they serve as dissertation chairs and dissertation committee members. So you have direct access to these amazing faculty.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as I was mentioning, that dissertation scaffolding is intentional for us. We really understand that this is a big deal. It's a big project that you are engaging in. And so we try to scaffold that throughout the program through writing and research methods courses. And this includes also in your third year, some chair-driven dissertation seminars where you will take courses just with your chair to kind of continue the dissertation work. We do provide students these benchmarks, which are opportunities to showcase for us your learning and your understanding of the content and how you are applying that content to your daily practice. So we do have students present to us in a preliminary review, which is their first benchmark. Then as they are finishing writing chapters 1, 2, and 3 of the dissertation, they propose their defense to their committee members, which involves 1 chair and 2 other faculty committee members. And then after they've collected and analyzed the data and finished writing chapters 4 and 5 of the dissertation, there's a final dissertation defense. And of course, after passing that, we all celebrate with you at graduation. It's a little bit about our structure in terms of the program here. And here's a little more detail in terms of curriculum. It is a 3-year program. And so in each term, we are a semester term, so fall, spring, summer. In each term, you would enroll in 2 classes. We intentionally pair those classes in order to meet our overarching program outcomes, which are 1, that you are a leader for social justice. We already know you are, but how can you cultivate those skills even more? And 2, how can you conduct independent research? So in each term, you will take a course that focuses on leadership for social justice. You're going to do a lot of foundational readings, learn about theories, and then you will also take a course that's helping to develop your research skills. For example, the quantitative methods course that I teach. And don't worry, you don't have to be scared. We have fun, I promise.
Mhm.
And then this just gives you a sense too of when those benchmarks hit as well. So you take the coursework over the first year, and then you have a benchmark, some coursework in the second year, have a benchmark coursework in the third year, where you shift to focus completely on the dissertation, and then you get to graduate.
What we want you to know is when you apply, there's a couple things that we want you to pay attention to. One, we certainly want you to have an earned master's degree from a credit university. At this time, we're really looking at GPA. That's unfortunately still a criteria. So having an undergraduate GPA of 3.0 or higher and a graduate GPA of 3.5 or higher. We also pride ourselves on having students who really have experience in higher education. We ask for 2+ years. And again, that is a real critical part. You'll notice the absence of a GRE requirement, and consistent with national standards for many universities. William and Mary University has suspended the GRE from 2020 to 2022. So at this point, that is not going to be part of the criteria. And so hopefully that's good news for some. And we think it really is going to make a big difference. What we're really looking at, though, when you apply is not just sort of what you see on the screen, because at one level, these are just numbers. We're really interested in you painting a picture of who you are. What are the forces that have shaped who you have become? Where are you at now? Where you are at now in your life and your career? And more importantly, where are you headed? What is your North Star goal? It really addressing all of those questions really helps us to get a sense of how we can bring what we have to the table to complement what you're looking for. And again, as I mentioned earlier, that synergy is really pretty explosive, pretty fascinating, pretty exciting, actually. And it really seems to work. And so who you are is really important to us. We really are looking for the person before the performer. Next slide. Dr. Huchting.
Certainly. So in terms of the actual logistics around your application, we do have an online application portal. So you would need to log in to start your application. We require a 2 to 4 page statement of purpose where we ask you to speak to these 4 areas. One, why do you want to pursue an EDD in educational leadership for social justice? We know there are other EDD programs out there with a focus, let's say, on curriculum development or a focus on technology. For you, what is it about this particular program that calls you to apply? We also are interested in hearing from you about how this degree fits with your career plans. This might be a nice way for you to showcase your professional and educational background to date and how this particular degree might leverage your future trajectory and where you see yourself headed. We're interested to hear why LMU. There's a lot of other universities out there. What is it about LMU that speaks to you? And finally, some areas of research interest. Sometimes students will ask us, do we need to have to list several areas of research or how do we do this? And we really encourage you to think about issues that you deal with or you face in your day-to-day operations in your professional world that might potentially shape up to be a dissertation topic for you. Is there a problem of practice that you're interested in potentially bringing with you to the program to then really dig into deeply through the coursework and through your dissertation to understand better? So it's an opportunity for us to get to know you a little bit too that way and understand some of those problems of practice that you face in your work. Of course, a current resume, 2 letters of recommendation. And for the letters of recommendation, we do encourage you to think about folks who can really speak to the skill sets that are required for success in doctoral studies, right? When you think about a doctoral degree, it's a lot of time management skills, it's a lot of organizational skills, writing skills, critical thinking skills, communication skills. So if there are folks that you work with or possibly previous professors who could speak to your, skill set in those areas, it's really helpful for us as a faculty to get to know you that way through these letters of recommendation. We do need transcripts from all colleges and universities. If you happen to be an LMU alum, welcome back, but we also need your transcripts sent to us through LMU system as well. And then last but not least, just to give you a sense of the process, after you submit your application, our faculty read these cover to cover. We have a very detailed, intentional process. The faculty love participating in the admission cycle because they get to know you on paper, and it's really exciting. And from there, we invite the top third to come in to interview for a position in the program. This is just a quick public service announcement. Our doctoral program offers 2 modalities. We offer a fully accredited online modality with a start date in January, and we offer a full face-to-face or on-campus program at our Westchester campus location with a start date in the summer. It starts usually around the beginning of July. If you are interested in our fully online modality, we pay attention to what are reciprocity laws, basically. So this is just a public service announcement that if you reside in one of the states that you see here, you're all set, ready to go. You can apply to an online program in the state of California. Not just LMU, but any online program in the state of California will be okay. If you don't reside in one of the states that's listed here, your state and California do not have reciprocity, which means you cannot receive an online degree from any university in California and have it count in your home state. So we just want to call your mind to that you want to make sure that you are a resident of one of these states if you are interested in our online program or any online program in the state of California. My public service announcement. There you are.
Thank you.
All right, details about our admissions timeline. As I mentioned, we offer 2 modalities. The on-campus EDD applications are due January 25th of 2022. So congratulations on getting a head start and thinking about this program. In terms of that timeline, admissions usually happen in mid-February. Decisions are then made in late March, early April, and then orientation occurs in June with a start date of classes in late June. So this would be almost an entire year from now. Our online EDD program is fully online, 100%. Those applications are due September 15th, 2021. And in terms of that timeline, we would do interviews in mid-October. Admissions decisions occur right around mid-November, orientation in December. And again, you start in the spring. You start January 10th of 2022. So you got some time. You've got the summer to kind of gather your materials and start thinking about things if you're interested in the online program, and you have an entire year if you're thinking about our on-campus program.
The estimated cost is something we know is on your agenda. We want you to know that when we looked at our competitor universities, we really are sort of right there and very competitive. And so we estimate that a 3-year cost, not a per year cost, but the entire 3-year program is $79,718. We also think it's important to know that 100% of our students who are accepted receive some sort of doctoral program scholarship. 100% of the students. So we are very mindful of the fiscal realities, but we do our part to really support you. And I think on the next slide, we get a bit more specific about that kind of support. Dr. Huckty.
Certainly. So we are mindful of finances. We completely understand that. So we always offer the doctoral program scholarship. As Dr. Parr mentioned, 100% of the students who enter into the program are eligible for that program scholarship. And then as available, we also offer, for example, a Catholic school teacher scholarship. If you're a member of the Catholic clergy, sometimes there's scholarships available. As I mentioned earlier, the centers that we offer on campus often offer fellowships, which come sometimes with a stipend or with money. So there's lots of opportunities, also including research assistantships and teaching assistantships once you become a student with us as well. So we're mindful of this, and we try to provide our students with as much support as possible. Many of our students find that they still need to take out government loans, and we do have the federal Stafford loan, federal Graduate Plus loan. Of course, that comes with in-school deferment, meaning you don't have to pay those back as long as you're considered a full-time student with us. And we have the best kept secret at the university, and that is the one and only Michaela Cooper, our program coordinator, who is there to help you with any questions you may have. Michaela has excellent relationships with our financial aid office on campus. They work really well with our doctoral students to make sure that you are fully, understanding all of these processes in terms of your finances. And then last but not least, this is just a quick slide to provide some program highlights. I know sometimes there's questions about, well, what is the difference between the online modality and the face-to-face modality? And so just looking at these side by side, you can see that they are fairly identical. The only difference would be the modality in which you take your courses, right? So both are 3-year programs, both are 46 credit units, both have the generous doctoral scholarship for admitted students. For the on-campus program, classes happen in the evenings. As I mentioned, we do Monday nights in the fall and spring semesters. In the summer, the courses are shorter in length. They're only 6 weeks for a summer term. So you do have classes twice a week, and we do our classes on Mondays and Thursdays in the summertime. In the online program, all of your classes, fall, spring, and summer, are fully online, and a combination of both asynchronous and synchronous content delivery. Both programs offer opportunities for students to share their research internationally. We have a beautiful relationship with our career and professional development support team on campus, our CPD office. They have curated a curriculum for our students related to career and professional development. So you get access to professionals who help clean up your resume, help you with things like your LinkedIn profile, go through mock job interviews if you'd like, and access to a beautiful career network of our alumni as well, which is great. We have a gorgeous library. You'll see it in the background of Michaela's photo there on campus. And that library access comes with our very own dedicated librarian for the doctoral program. She is a gift to our doc students because, as you know, in a doc program, it's a lot of research, a lot of looking up literature and that sort of thing. And so you have support for that work. And then, of course, the differences are the start date and the deadlines for the application. So please be mindful of that. The online program begins in January, and the on-campus program begins in the summer.
And now we want you to take a look at this picture. This is one of our graduating classes. I want you to see a few things: the diplomas they have in their hands, the smiles on their faces, and the absolute joy that they have gone this journey successful, working with each other and working with the faculty. And just take a moment and identify one of those persons and put your face there. And that's where you'll be seated or standing in 3 years with that color robe and that color hood with your cohort of peers. This really can happen, does happen all the time. And we really work together to make sure that those dreams come true for you. So with that, we certainly want to bring this particular orientation to a close. Hope that it has been hopeful. Dr. Huckty may have some parting words, and perhaps even Michaela. But again, welcome. We look forward to hearing from you. And don't forget to turn your clocks ahead on Sunday. Dr. Huckty and Michaela, you want to say any parting words?
Sure. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for the reminder about the time change too. I just would echo what you've heard from Dr. Parham and just really congratulate you on taking this first step of thinking about a doctoral program and our university as a potential home for you in the future. We realize, that things have been really difficult, as Bill mentioned at the start of this, and the truth is the world needs educational leaders for social justice now more than ever. And so the fact that you are even interested in this and considering this, it uplifts us, and we are so excited for you. And so please, if you have any questions about our program, don't hesitate to reach out.
And I would just echo Carrie's congratulations to all of you for making this first step. And if you ever have any questions about the program or just the navigating the process of actually applying, please feel free to reach out. We're always happy to help you out and with your questions.
So with that, we want to, on behalf of all of our colleagues, thank you. Have a good evening and a good rest of the week, and take care and be well and be safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.